So Chris, I think everybody kind of wants to know, why should I use supplements when I go to the gym?
Okay. And I'll even broaden that out. Maybe it will talk a little bit for the gym goer, but even maybe the average individual, average American. So I think your question maybe stated a little more clear as, should I even use supplements or do I even need supplements?
Yeah, because you see all these guys and they're all jacked and stuff, and they're talking about these supplements and all these people and supplement this, that, and the other. Do I even, I just don't, that's a lot of extra money to spend. Is there really that much benefit?
Right. So just to give you a little bit of background, so I have a minor in nutrition from college, so that means I know about that much, quite honestly. So let's just, play fair. I personally have taken supplements since I was about 10 years old, and I'm not joking. I grew up in the 80s, that kind of thing. But current research suggests and says and proves beyond the shadow of a doubt, every North American, this comes out of Tufts University, every North American needs to be taking a vitamin mineral supplement at the bare minimum. So, okay, well, why? You're telling me I need to take one, why? Because that opens up a whole other discussion, can of worms, as far as efficacy, quality, blah, 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 blah.
Right.
Bioavailability. The vitamin that I'm going to take is actually making a difference at my cellular level, improving my health, in other words. That's definitely a can of worms when you ask that broad question. But back to, do I need to take one? Absolutely. At least a vitamin mineral supplement, just to fill in the nutritional gaps that we're not getting. Every North American is lacking, on average, about 10, 11, 12 of the basic minerals for basic metabolic functions to even take place. So I look at it like this. Whether a person's trying to gain weight or lose weight, I look at it like a car, or your vehicle, your car, the motor in there. To oxidize the fuel, what has to be present? When you're putting the fuel in, which is calories, right, in our body, just like gasoline, you put to get the motor to go somewhere. But to actually oxidize the fuel, oxygen has to be present. And what's the other part in a motor that actually creates the spark? Well, the spark plugs, right? So in our bodies, we're putting the fuel, the macronutrients, macro means large, that's the carbs, fats, and proteins in there, and that's fine. We can even diet, try to lose weight, this and that. The problem is, though, the micronutrients, the vitamins, minerals, plant extract, just are not in the food that we eat nowadays because of industrialization, and there's some good things for that. We can stick a bag of chips on the shelf and they're good 6 months later, we can still eat it, right? However, the level of nutrients, the spark plugs, in other words, just aren't in our food nowadays. So it doesn't matter if we're dieting to try to lose weight and eat clean and everything. A lot of times people are still struggling because the spark plugs just aren't in their food. So that's what a vitamin mineral supplement would do. And then you break that out into different areas of supplementation, like sports performance or performance enhancement or weight loss, and you're talking thermogenics, things that speed up or boost the metabolism. I'll stop there before we get into a whole other discussion.
Sure. Well, I noticed you're wearing an Advocare shirt. I would assume you use Advocare.
I do, yeah.
Why do you pick Advocare specifically?
Good question. So I stumbled across, actually my wife did, she stumbled across this company Advocare almost 20 years ago, about 19 years ago. So I personally used their products for 19, going on 20 years. But I was very skeptical. I tried every flipping supplement on the market. Quite honestly, I always spent $200 to $400 a month on supplements. Now some people freak out about that. That was normal to me. I understand that what it did for me. Look better, feel better, perform better, and that's what I was after in the performance. But all the supplements I ever spent money on, they never really did for me or gave me the results I was looking for based off what the label was saying. So I got into kinesiology, or exercise science was my major, nutrition was minor. So what I recognized, though, is the authors of the books and the studies and the research papers and whatnot, that the names that really made a difference, the PhDs, in other words. So I knew what a lot of these names were, and that's what I started picking up on with Advocare. They have what's called a Scientific and Medical Advisory Board. Now, these doctors and scientists don't work for Advocare. So in the world of science, if they did, well, that's an ethical dilemma. So any research that's done, they're like, well, you're getting paid by the company to do it, so of course you're going to say, well, they can skew the data, in other words. That's not the case with Advocare. That SciMed board, for example, Dr. William Kramer, Bill Kramer, he's at Ohio State University. He is considered the number one, the top exercise physiologist in the world, in the globe. This is just not me. He wrote, was senior editor, blah, 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 one of the books I had in college. Well, he is on the SciMed board for Advocare. So when it comes to human performance enhancement, he's the best of the best. So whatever he says to take, if Advocare wants to make, say, a pre-workout, right? Okay, well, they have their own biochemists and scientists and what at Advocare, they get paid to formulate the products, but that information comes from that SciMed board. So they meet, I think, every month. They collectively get on a call, or they'll go down and they're like, okay, we want a product that's going to do this because we see trends in the market. What's it need to be made of? How's it need to be blah, 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 blah. So.
Okay, so basically it's just expert backed, and
Absolutely.
You've gotten great results from it, and so you believe in it.
Yeah. Long story short, so let me package that up. I was looking to put on muscle mass. I was about 150, 155 pounds, lean and ripped and strong and all that stuff. But I got out of the Army and I was looking to do bodybuilding, natural, and all that kind of stuff. I put on 17 pounds in 6 months time frame. That is unheard of for a natural athlete.
Okay.
Once I started taking the Advocare products. So I was sold.
Okay, so we kind of touched earlier on, everybody should be taking a vitamin supplement.
Sure.
So, who really should use supplementation? I mean, who is everybody? I mean, obviously everybody is everybody, but like, is there people specifically that should be using it? Like, is it, who are we, who
Right.
who should use it?
We're going to target. So when I say everybody, let's just look at our food industry for an example. Most people drink milk, right? We're not going to get into the whole discussion of dairy, non-dairy, blah, 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 lactose intolerant, all that kind of stuff. But just look at milk. And because I'll have people, they'll tell me all the time, well, I don't believe in my supplementation. Like, we drink milk. Well, yeah. Well, then you believe in it because you're taking supplements. It says vitamin fortified. Anything that says our cereals, you look at cereal, fortified. Fortified means it has vitamins, minerals added to it. That's what it means. So a lot of people are doing it and they don't even realize they're doing it.
Gotcha.
So it truly is for every North American.
Okay.
And you can use our food industry for an example of that. The FDA is already using vitamin mineral supplementation for decades.
Okay, so it really is for anybody.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Okay. I mentioned I see a lot of ads and stuff, and all these big, ripped, jacked up guys, or these really good looking girls who are in great shape, and they're pushing this product, and whatever that product may be. It can be expensive, and I don't want to waste my money. So, is there anything I should avoid when I'm looking at supplements to purchase?
So there's safety, there's efficacy, there's terms like that kind of thrown around. I always lean towards the side of safety, number one, and then efficacy. I want to make sure that if I'm going to spend, speaking to $1, my valuable hard-earned dollar, then I'm getting in other words, what's on that label actually matches what's in the container. And so there's a lot of companies out there pay a third-party laboratory to test their stuff. And they put the results out there on the web because professional athletes can use it. Their strength coaches can recommend it. That way they know they're not going to come up hot on a test and risk their career, losing an NCAA scholarship athlete, losing their scholarship because of something that was added in there that shouldn't be in there for performance enhancement wise. But at the end of the day, I want to make sure if I'm spending $1 a day on my vitamin mineral supplement, I want to make sure that what I'm taking is safe, number one, and that it actually is doing what it says it's going to do. And again, I'm not just going to say Advocare, but there are other companies out there that have their stuff tested. But I like to look, like on the Advocare stuff, you'll see a little green check mark. It's called Informed Choice. And in the sport world, there's Informed Sport as well. So you can go, that's a third-party laboratory. They test every batch to make sure that what's on that label matches actually what's inside the container. So I know I'm getting my hard-earned dollar that's going to work in my body for me.
Okay, I got you. So yeah, it's just see if you can't, I guess research is going to be key then. Making sure that you can find some kind of report that proves what you're getting, what you're paying for, something.
Yes, yeah. And that's, most people out there, let's be honest, they don't have white lab coats. I have people tell me all the time, well, let me do some research. I'm like, what are you, a PhD? No, I mean, I kind of make fun of it sometimes because I have lots of people, even colleagues, friends of mine and whatnot, well, let me research it. I'm like, where's your lab coat?
Yeah.
Are you a PhD? No, they're not. So where are they getting the research? Off the web, like everybody else does, right. Internet it. They're not a doctor. They don't know. So that's why I point to, and neither am I. I got a minor in nutrition.
Right.
I know that much. So I look to guys like Dr. Bill Kramer. They are PhDs times 2 or 3 plus MD. They got more letters behind their names than I care to even think about. So
Okay.
I just looked at those guys. That's what their job is day in and day out. So we get the latest, greatest, best information and current evidence-based research. And I can put my faith and trust in those guys to know I'm taking something that's safe, number one, that's effective, number two.
Sure. Well, that really kind of covers any questions I would have. Is there anything you feel needs to be added?
So a lot of people still like to read labels and things like that. I would stay away from when you pick up labels and a lot of pre-workout kind of things, guys, girls, whatever, they're looking for pre-workouts. And when they look on that label, sometimes they'll see what's called proprietary blend. Now, I'm not going to beat that up because it's not a bad thing. As long as it's broke down and you can see the amounts that are in things. Because there's safety. Let's say caffeine, for example. Caffeine's a perfect example. The FDA says about 240 milligrams of caffeine total in your day is a safe, effective amount. A little more, a little less. Everybody's body's a little bit different. But that's, of course, across the day. Some people can tolerate and handle more. But if something says proprietary blend and it doesn't have the breakdown of how much caffeine, say, is in there, well, how do you flip and know how much is in there? You don't. And so that's how supplement companies can get away with. They just put proprietary blend and throw in there whatever they want to throw in there. And you as a consumer don't know what you're putting in your body, how much, how little, or even if it's in there. So I would watch out for that terminology. Any company that doesn't break that down on their label, put it back on the shelf. It's not worth it.
Awesome. Well, like I said, I think you've answered everything that I have to ask. I know in the future we plan on sitting down and doing some conversations about specific supplements stacking.
Sure.
For specific goals, so like muscle gain and weight loss, especially. Mm-hmm. I know almost everybody can lose a couple pounds. So
yeah, losing weight, that's easy. Gaining weight, that's easy. It's sustaining or maintaining. That's where everybody fails, and that's where I really find. I guess for myself, I take pride in the people's lives that I've been able to affect long term. I'm not quite honestly. I don't mean to sound harsh, but I don't like working with a person who's just wants to fit in the wedding dress in 2 months because they have a short-term mentality, and anybody can do that, and then they're going to blow right back up afterwards. So I'm looking at that long-term. How can I impact their life for long-term to look better, feel better, perform better?
Awesome. Well, I appreciate taking the time to talk with us, and I guess we'll catch you on the next conversation about supplement stacking.
Sounds good, guys. Thanks for tuning in.